What up? What up, football freaks? It's Kenny and Edward here tonight to kick some butt, have some fun. Finally, we have done it. Ed and I have got the channel all dedicated to whatever we want to talk about. There is no filter, so we can do whatever we want. Isn't that a great feeling, Ed?
It is. It's going to be a lot of fun, Kenny. And I'm looking forward to it. We're going to do, we can do anything we want. I'm looking forward to like going to a demolition derby and doing a demolition derby live. I think that'd be awesome. I don't know if anybody's ever done that, but they're a hell of a lot of fun to watch.
Ed, I'll
Yes, sir.
drive. You do the videos. Let's enter it.
You want to actually, have you ever been in a demolition derby?
Buddy, I live in Portland. Of course I have.
There is a lot of, you really need to be a mechanic because they make you pull your gas tank out and then you only get to have like a 2-gallon gas tank in your back seat.
Yeah, because they don't want you to
know,
blow up.
Yeah.
Well, look at here. There is some loyal friends of ours there, Ed. There is TJ Autocross and Peplin Creek Aquatics in the house, boys. Thank you so much for showing up for our maiden journey. Now, if you guys are wondering why I'm at a different angle tonight, this is what Kenny's dealing with tonight. I lost my computer like 2 minutes before we're going live. My monitor just took a crap. Danny's gone, so I improvised being the Marine I am. So I'm getting to watch my stream tonight, read the chat on a 75-inch TV.
Oh,
Anyway.
holy cow.
So that's if you see me looking at the different angle, that's why, because that's how I'm looking at chat tonight. And that's also why I'm so dark tonight, because I don't have a monitor glowing on me. So I didn't think I was going to have this issue, or I would have had my other light that I have. But that's all right, man. The spotlight should be on my buddy anyway, Ed.
I agree.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We're going to do a lot of different things. Of course, our focus is always going to be the fantasy football fish league. That's our league that started this, and we'll have the drafts on this page. But I also do a fantasy baseball draft. So I need to set a date, and we'll do that in tonight's episode. And then when people say, "Hey, when's the date?" I said, "Well, it's in the episode." So, how about we schedule it for like in 3 weeks sometime?
Okay.
Oh, I'm not supposed to talk about fish, but
no, you could talk.
Devil, my red devil, like was trying to boss around fish, and then my Bisher swam up and he took off. Oh. I love my Bisher.
I bet so you your Bisher has nipped at him once or twice.
Yeah,
he knows to respect the Bisher.
Well, they have all taken shots at the Bisher. I don't think it's in a cichlet's mind what a Bisher is until they get hit or bit.
We've got Bisher, 2 more people joining us, Ed. We got Shane's Tanks and Bowls, and we got Miss Spaghetti Nona here. Appreciate you guys coming on out for our maiden journey. Ed and I can be unfiltered. We can do whatever we want on this channel, especially now because we're not monetized. So there's no price to pay at the moment. We do want to keep it somewhat clean. So when we do get monetized, we don't have to get rid of half of our content, but we're not going to be as filtered as we are on our channels either. So
Kenny promised me before we did this, he would keep the Kraken in.
Yeah, I promised the Kraken will not come out.
But if you guys saw the thumbnail, that almost had me worried. I mean, what are you doing in this? Oh, darn it. I lost my thumbnail because I went to the thing.
Now, guys, so you know, Kenny has no
thumbnail.
As far as thumbnailing, that's not my gig. Ed knows on our deal, he needs to give me a thumbnail before the stream every Friday. So he forgot to do that this week. That's what he got for a thumbnail. Yes, I wish you all, I should have been making a short of Ed seeing for the first time what I put for the thumbnail because his face was funny. He got red as his beard, man.
But you know what? I like that blue bathroom. Is that like for the Kansas City Royals?
No, that just happened to be a bathroom. I think I took that picture on the Fish Fam tour, Ed. It was some place I stopped to spend the night, and that was my bathroom.
Well, maybe it was Peplin's bathroom.
Yeah, that's what it was. That was Peplin's guest bathroom. His main bathroom's even bigger.
Are you serious? That was actually his bathroom?
Yeah.
What are the odds of me guessing that? Peplin, did you recognize that? Oh man, and it would help if I had. That's why he's on here. Not only are we going to talk sports, but we're going to talk about Fish Fam bathrooms.
Hold on, I got to do it, Ed. I got to do it. We got a Viking fan in the house. Yeah, baby, scope.
Yeah. Oh well.
So the Raiders have admitted they're not wanting Rodgers at this point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're not going after Rodgers. They said they don't want him.
The Jets, I heard, want him.
The Jets want him bad. So here's my predictions. Here's what I'm going to tell you the way the puzzle's going to work in the offseason here.
We've got a pen. I'll write this down.
Here's what I'm predicting this next year. I believe the Raiders will be the AFC champions. And I'm going to tell you how that equation's going to work. I'm not writing this down.
Is this what you said last year? Because it sounds vaguely familiar. Everybody said the Raiders.
Honestly, I think they're going. What I think the Raiders are going to do for a quarterback is I think with Josh Daniels there, I think it's a perfect fit. Jimmy Garoppolo goes there, spends a good, nice little 3 years, finishes his career as a Raider under Josh Daniels. They're not going to have to pay him the kind of money that most quarterbacks in this league would want. So you got a quarterback that's on a prove-it type contract, gives you more room for defensive stars, which, by the way, there's a gentleman down in Los Angeles that is probably going to get cut or traded in the draft. I think that would be a guy the Raiders should go for. He's solid. One of the best corners in the league. And then they get that guy. I think they could put it together. They got a good running game. They've got great receivers. They just need a little help on that defensive line, a little bit of secondary help. I think that the Raiders could be a contender again. And that's what I see happening. I see Jimmy G going to Las Vegas and freeing up some money for the Raiders to do things they really want to do. Get some better D line and D secondary on the team. I think the Raiders will be a contender this next year.
I don't think they'll be a contender. But I mean, everybody said they were going to be a contender last year, and they weren't. I still think the second best team in the AFC West is San Diego.
Oh,
you know,
bro, your whole division's loaded with talent. I mean,
well, I'm hoping that everybody was saying that Colorado or Denver was going to be great too. Well, they picked nearly every single person picked the Chiefs last year, all because of one wide receiver, and our quarterback had the best year ever because he didn't have to throw it to one guy. So, I mean, the Chiefs are going to be back again. At least in their division. For
the
sure.
one thing about the Chiefs that I could say was different this year without Hill is it did seem more of a team concept, and they all seemed a little.
I know they're on the 5-foot guy.
They had a little bit more grit to them this year. I thought. I mean, there were a couple of those games. I mean, that defense had to stand up tall. I mean, the defense won a couple. What was it, 3-4 games this year for you where they were on the field where the team could have took the lead or tied, and they shut them down. So
our defense was leaps and bounds better than it's been in years because we did so many drafts. I mean, our whole back. Well, Snead's a second-year player, third year, but all the other guys are rookies. Well, I guess Reed, all of our corners were rookies because Reed we picked up from Houston to replace the Honey Badger, was going way downhill and wasn't worth the money, and that was a super smart move by the Chiefs. The Chiefs have been making some great moves, and I've been just blessed that we've got a good commission or a good GM.
Oh
But
man, we got all the cool kids coming in now. We got Daniel Velez, Miss Foxy Fishes is here.
oh, Foxy Roxy.
We're getting them all. Mike's Aquatics and things came in.
I wonder if we're going to get more than 10 people.
I don't know, man. But like I said,
Oh, it
me
would be
and
awesome if we got 10 thumbs ups.
yeah, it's gonna take a while. People, I promise you, people are at Daniken, right? Where's Daniken? Blah blah blah. They're not. That's the stream they're looking for tonight because that's where we're usually at. But we did tell everybody, and what did we give them? A week's notice, right?
Yeah, so all those people that were on vacation last week, I don't know what I did with my water. Oh well. But there's a lot of teams that are talking about trading their quarterbacks now too. Have you heard about this?
Well, I would love to see my Vikings be one of them.
Well, Lamar Jackson for
He's
Baltimore, they're
he's
thinking
not
about
happy.
trading him. He's negotiating his own contract and he wants to be the highest paid quarterback in the league. Or he at least wants the same deal as Deshaun Watson. And there's just such a big difference in player. Now, Deshaun Watson was out of the game for 3 years, but when he was there, he was an amazing passer. Lamar Jackson is an amazing running back, quarterback.
Right.
He
He
does
will
it all
never
with his
put up the numbers that Watson puts up on the passing yards, probably ever. But
and their careers are so short. I mean, running quarterbacks your average running back lasts 3 years in the league. Okay,
well,
that's
yeah,
not
because
long.
you're taking lower body hits, knees, hips.
Yeah, and then you've got when it comes to running back or running quarterbacks, they generally don't last long. I think Vic lasted long because of the whole jail stint. That added years. Randall Cunningham was amazing guy. He ended up turning into kind of a passer once he went to Minnesota.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, those were the years. I am shocked. Those were the years we should have gotten at least one ring. When we
Well,
had
and you
we
guys
had
had Culpepper, who was amazing.
yeah.
Culpepper had 11 touchdowns on the ground one year. He was the MVP. He was amazing, but I think he only lasted about 3 years,
Yeah, well, he got that
maybe
knee
4.
injury. It was that knee injury that. Yeah, I mean
That's all
two
it
teams
takes.
you just
And
spoke of. The year we had Cunningham, Moss, Carter, Reed, Smith, and then we had
yeah,
just a punishing defense led by John Randall. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, I mean, if we almost etched us in stone, we were getting there. Then we blow it against Atlanta in the. I mean, crowd, man. And then the year with Culpepper, we had Culpepper, Peterson, Moss. Then we had a couple decent Burleson. Nate Burleson was on that team that year.
Was
So
Rudolph on the team?
Rudolph, it might have been his rookie or.
Rudolph was an amazing, a tight end that didn't ever get enough credit.
Yeah, because he did it all, man. He wasn't scared. He'd block. I mean, he was a good blocking and receiving tight end. And
Well,
they would once in a while run options too, where he'd come across and take like a reverse and stuff, which was you don't ever see tight ends doing that, except for Kelsey. Kelsey's good at it, but
you have, what I'm trying to say is everybody is competing to get into the NFL. I mean, you have, I don't know if I think one time I heard there's like 722 college teams that are graduating football players every year coming into the draft. And then the
wow.
draft is 7 drafts long. So what's 7 times 30? 7 times 32. I don't know. Like 450 people. That's all that's making it from those 700 teams into the NFL. So everybody is, really close. So it's that extra speed that gets you ahead of the other quarterbacks. And as soon as he gets that injury, he drops below the other guys, and it's just, it's scary. So, but Lamar Jackson is thinking about, they could trade him. Another amazing running quarterback who is still on his rookie contract is the guy out of the Bears.
Fields.
Yeah, Fields. That there's words that they might be trading Fields off
I think that'd be
to
a
pick
big
up one of
mistake.
the
I think
rookie.
I
think
think
so too.
Fields. I think that guy will probably have 3 rings before he retires. That guy's. I would like to get Fields on the Viking. That would be something. And he's got a decent
Yeah.
arm on him.
So
I like
but
those dual threat quarterbacks, though, man. Those guys.
they're a lot of fun. And
But I think
and see, he's still paid, he's being paid his rookie money. So it's not a risk for a team to go out and get him and pay a first round draft pick for him. But do you go after Lamar Jackson, give up 1 or 2 first round draft picks plus $60 million a year off your salary cap?
yeah.
The only type of team that would do that is the Raiders. I mean, well, look at the little running back for the Cardinals. Gosh, I'm doing terrible with names tonight. I need a list of names. The awesome Carl, is it Carl?
No. Now you got me messed up. Somebody
I
in
know.
chat, who is the Arizona starting quarterback?
Kyle Murray. Okay.
Kyle Murray. There you go.
I need to have my tablet so I can type stuff easier. But Kyle Murray, he hurt his knee last year. He's going to be out half this year. They paid him a whole butt ton of money, and now that team looked like they were on the rise, and now they're sinking. So, man, it's crazy. I'd just be so afraid to invest in a running guy. Terribly afraid.
Well, the other thing is going to be, I think it's coming to a head now. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott, I think he's going to get cut this year.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, wherever he goes, he's going to help. Oh no, Zeke. I was thinking Dak.
Oh, Dak ain't going nowhere.
Zeke.
That's a Jerry. Jerry loves that kid, man. He ain't going nowhere.
Well, he loves Zeke too. He paid him a ton of money to be the backup running back. Yeah, he's one of the highest paid running backs in the league.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because
with
of
him,
that,
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't even do anything ever again.
He looked like he lost a couple gears at the end of the season here.
Yeah. It's sad. It really is.
I guess we got a birthday in the house. Happy birthday, Daniel. There's Melvin. What's going on, Melvin?
Birthday. Hey, Mel. So, but we are going to be doing a Fish Fam baseball league. Everybody who played in it last year will automatically get to renew. But if they choose not to, then we can fill it in with another person. Or I think it's only 8 people right now because I think some people dropped out. So we could have up to probably 4 more teams easy in that league. So if anybody is interested in the Fish Fam football or Fish Fam fantasy baseball, let me know on Instagram or Facebook and go to Chattanooga Ed and you'll see my logo. So, and just say you're interested and I'll get you in there. I have to have your email.
You know what we need to do, Ed? I just thought of, I'll try to work on that over the weekend is when they come to our channel, I'll have all of our other channels there too. And any other ways you want to be contacted, we could put on there. So I could put Kenny in my contact, Ed in your contact, and Skipper in his contact. So that way, if anybody through the channel wants to get a hold of us, and we'll get we do have, and I do apologize. This is the first stream I've ever done. I've always just had Danik and stuff on my StreamYard. So when I put it on this channel somehow it still remembers it had all of my Daniken stuff over here. So now I understand what Ed was talking about because you said James, when you and him would do the similar thing, he said he'd have to go in and change
Yeah.
all the photos and the pictures. And I'm like, wow.
Well, and that's why I don't want to leave James's page now because all my stuff is on there.
Right.
And so it's
Well,
just,
this worked out
yeah,
fine because like I said, I have a bunch of, I have the extra slots there. So, and I know Danny, guys, I'm telling you, she won't even tell me. She's up to something. She is up to something because I saw something that cost a little bit of money that I believe, I don't know what it could be, but I am wondering what she's up to. She won't tell me what she's up to.
maybe she
So,
got a Pokemon ball.
boy, I tell you, was my first thought. She got some kind of big Pokemon. It's probably something that you put in the bed of my truck that catches every Pokemon in like for a 10-mile radius or something.
That'd be awesome. Just like a ghost busting machine that just sucks all the Pokemons in. That would be awesome. But I was thinking about trying to see if I can't get us on OBS also, so I'd be able to pop up images. Like I can have all these different, if we talk about, I don't know, Dak or Zeke, I could pop their photo up while we're talking about him. Be a little more sports like.
I don't care which one we do.
Well, I think we can still stay in StreamYard and I'll just run it even on my computer, and I don't know how to do it right or quite. I'll learn how to do it, but I think we can like have a program at the bottom, like when I share screen or whatever, I just log on. So we would all be probably small, and then our picture could pop up if whenever I want it. If that
Okay.
makes any sense. So,
Well,
but
I
guys,
told my
we'll take
wife I might have.
any suggestions.
I do want to get a spot on the place to stream where I can just deck it out in my Viking stuff, so it's more the theme we're going for now, and maybe some of my mounted fish behind me, and
That's awesome.
where we can let loose a little bit.
That'd be super cool. Well, I'm going to bring up a calendar of this month, calendar of March, just so I can see what the dates are. And I think, whoops, I'm going to shoot for right now. It's March 3rd. I'm going to shoot for March 18th for our fantasy baseball draft, guys.
And what day of the
And
week
then
was
we'll
that?
probably, that's a Saturday.
Saturday.
We'll
Okay.
do the live stream at about 12 in the afternoon.
Even though I'm not playing it, I tell you what, you let me know when you're going to do it, and if I'm available, I'll come up with you, and that way I can,
Cool.
while you're concentrating on making sure you get the good next guy, I could be watching the chat for you. And
Well, I fear we'll probably have Jimmy P also,
oh, nice.
because he was asking he'd like to talk baseball and stuff. So I thought maybe throughout the year, Jimmy P and I can just get together in the middle of the week sometime and talk baseball. That'd
That's
be
what we're
fun.
building this channel for, is to have some fun.
Yeah, just to have that ability to talk something other than fish. Not that we don't love our fish, because
We do.
I mean it's obvious. I started to stream off by talking about my Bishers. But yep. Okay. I've got a question about something with you. Have you seen this girl in Nebraska? And I'd like to ask Austin about this, but there's a girl in Austin, or a girl in Nebraska, that's the only girl on her cheerleading team. And they're making a big deal about her being a one-man team because the other three girls quit. And so I tried to figure out why those three girls quit, because I wonder if this other girl's just, a complete, you know what? Maybe they hate her, you know? Um, and they won't say why these three girls quit the team. It said for personal reasons. So I was hoping that maybe we could get Austin, since he lives right there on the Nebraska border, to look into this story for us. Let me see.
You know what? I just screwed up too because I wanted to invite him this evening. I got to get that off to him.
Oh
Oh
gosh.
man, Ed, you got to remind me, man. I always forget to send that to Austin.
Yeah, I was hoping Austin would be here already.
He would have. He would have been if I would have sent it.
See, this is the girl. She's a one man. Oh, stupid ads. This is the one man, or I guess one woman cheerleading crew.
That's sad.
Well, I know, and it would really stink for the basketball team to just have one girl cheering for you. But maybe they're a really bad basketball team and it's embarrassing to cheer for them. You know, I mean, there's so many things that could be there.
So I'm trying to get.
Well, thank you, TJ. He said that nobody will need ESPN once I'm get done with setting the channel up. And I hope that maybe I can do that. Now, I am I'm like the opposite of tech savvy, but I work at things until I get it to work. So hopefully, because like there's one thing I've wanted to do with OBS, and I haven't hooked up OBS even on this computer. I bought this computer just to have OBS. I wanted to make it so if somebody super chatted me or joined the membership or did something like that, a different fish would swim by on my web pay or on my live streams. So that way I would see it easier. I thought that'd be awesome. And then it'd be a surprise to see if you're a neon tetra or a betta or a shovel nosed catfish, you know? I just thought it'd be fun. And I'd try to preload like 100 different fish swimming by just for an extra thank you. Because I always feel bad that I'm not thanking people enough when they give me a super chat. So have you got it to Austin yet?
Yeah, I got it off to Austin. I haven't seen him in the chat, so I'm wondering if he couldn't find how to get here or something. It is a
Yeah.
difficult name, and it's going to take us a while. But Ed, you guys got to understand, Ed and I were just excited to get this off the ground finally, and we're going to have fun with it. I mean, I just cannot wait to see all the cool stuff we do. Like I said, you might see Ed playing. He might take you, who knows, to the aquarium. You might end up at a football game. You might end up going crossroads with them. You don't know where you're going to end up with that. Same thing with Skipper. I mean, the guy just got back from a cruise, so I mean, he's always doing cool stuff too. And with me, you might catch me out on my boat on the river, or I might be going cross country to see this guy, or who knows what I'll do.
You know what I want to see? Skipper does a thing called a gun raffle or a gun where everybody goes and they shoot or something. Everybody gets a gun. You just don't know what level gun you're going to get. But I think it'd be fun to watch him shoot clay pigeons. Wouldn't that be cool to see if Skipper can actually hit something?
I got a
Maybe
funny feeling
Skipper always
Skip
ends up
might
with BB
surprise
guns.
you. I bet you he surprises you, Ed.
I bet he does. But it would be funny if instead, like the winner gets a new Remington Express 12 gauge, and then the losers get BB guns,
Yeah.
Daisy BB guns.
Hey, man,
That'd be funny.
my BB gun is a lot of people would consider a weapon.
Well, yeah,
I got a nice scope on it, baby, and
that's cool. I think, unfortunately, a lot of people think BB guns, any gun is a weapon in general. But let's don't talk about that. It's just, I was just thinking it'd be fun to watch him shoot clay pigeons, though. Wouldn't that be fun? Did you ever go
look
clay
at this.
pigeon shooting?
You see what TJ said?
That would be pretty
I put it.
cool.
He'll be the next ESPN if Ed's.
We'll try. We're gonna try. Well, and I I thought so originally we were gonna be the Aquatic Sports Network.
Oh, really?
And yeah,
Hmm.
but then my nephew came into town and said, "Why don't you go ACE, Aquatic Sports Entertainment?" And that's what ESPN did was originally they were going to be sports entertainment, so they were going to do movies and things like that.
All
And
right, all right, Pep. Let's see if you put your money where your mouth is, boy. Get your ass up here. I just sent it to you by way of Facebook, sir. You're welcome to come up as well.
one's pretty cool.
I'll, I got to. That's what I'm going to do because I can have up to 10 people a week if we want. I don't want to make it a
Yeah.
full, but I mean, let's tell them anybody wants to come up, come up. You know, except for the weeks we're having actual people you and I are having for guests, who might ever that be. Now we will say Skipper is not here because he just got done. He went on a what was it, 5-day cruise or something?
Something.
So anyway, he was stuck in the airport. He's in the air as we speak. So that is why he couldn't exactly live stream from an airplane. Well, he could if they'd allow it, but
Kenny, what sports did you play?
Uh-oh.
All right.
There he is.
That's Austin.
Yes.
I have something incredibly important for you to either inform me on or look into. And you could write a whole article in your newspaper about this girl.
Oh, okay.
It's high school athletics, but it's Nebraska, not Iowa.
Oh, that's okay. I
Did you hear
sometimes
about
take
this?
pictures of Nebraska anyway, so that's all good.
Did you hear about this one-man cheerleader girl? Or one-man team?
No, I have not, honestly.
She, like, everybody's saying how courageous she is and how proud they are that she went to the state championship or whatever by herself because she's the only girl on the team. But originally there were 3 other girls, but they all left for personal reasons.
Oh.
So I wanted to find out if this girl was just being mean to them.
Oh.
Maybe they all got pregnant, and that's why they had to quit. Who knows?
Can you put a little accent on it? It sounds like the aliens from Toy Story.
Not to mention, I grew up in a farming community, Ed. Yeah, farmer daddies don't play. So there ain't getting no knocked up, and if they are, they're certainly not going home to tell daddy about it.
Well, so maybe this girl fat shamed or body shamed them, and they hated her. You know, who knows? Maybe this girl isn't a sweet, wonderful girl. Maybe she's a horrible girl. or maybe their high school is just so bad at basketball, it was embarrassing to cheer for it, and the 3 girls quit.
I won't name any, but I'm pretty sure we have some basketball teams here that are kind of hard to cheer for.
Maybe she has no dignity and doesn't mind cheering for a team that gets
Ed.
You know, 70-10.
Here's the problem. I'm too ADD, so you're not seeing what I'm seeing either. It seems to me, put that picture back up, Holmes. Let me narrate this for you, all right? Okay. I'm a one-person cheerleader for a fan of 0. Look behind her, Holmes. There ain't nobody back there.
Right, but this is at the Nebraska State Championship where only the cheerleaders cheer. There's no real game.
I mean, I can understand when nobody wants to cheer. They're doing it for nobody. Oh.
Let's see if I can find out what town this was in.
Ugh.
And Foxy's asking, what did clay pigeons ever do, Ed?
Well, that's why we blow them away instead of real pigeons. But I guess she's more into shooting real pigeons because she's a fox and they probably eat all the pigeons that fall to the ground.
And Legacy says to you, he says he wants to be a special Clark Kent. Hey, you know what I just thought of? Where is Peplin? Damn it, Peplin! You said you'd come up here with me. You just insinuated it. So come up here and hang out for a bit, bro.
Yeah, bring Brian on board.
I like when Brian starts talking football too, buddy, because he's like all of us are for our team. Oh, here's somebody I forgot to tell you boys around that is very interested in talking some football with us.
Oh.
Mr. Bentley in the house. What's up, Bentley?
Here we go.
Howdy, fellas.
Well,
Going.
we didn't really have somebody to represent the NFC on this side of town. So here's Bentley, and he's a true Seattle fan. So I figured that's good. We got our Pacific Northwesterner team in the house now. My Vikings are in the house, and then we got an AFC over here. And then, of course, that other guy down there in the corner. We won't mention who he roots for. Now, the Packers.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Patriots.
No, he's a Packers fan.
oh.
Patriots, there's no way Ed would have allowed that on our.
I mean, if it's a Patriots or a Cowboys fan, I would understand the reaction. Like,
Yeah.
Packers, cheeseheads be cheeseheads.
Yeah.
Quarterback's a bit of a
And
psycho,
honestly-
but he's good at the game. What do you do?
Both of our past two quarterbacks have been kind of different cats, if you know what I mean.
How many Super
Brett
Bowls have
Favre
you
is a bit of a strange bird as well when you think about it.
Yeah.
Green Bay? What? Do you guys have 5 Super Bowl wins or 6?
4.
4?
Could have had 5.
One was against
Someone
the
didn't
Chiefs.
muff a onside kick against that guy's team.
Yeah, that's terrible. Tom Brady's got more personal Super Bowls than most teams have. That is terrible.
But no,
Easy, game.
We
You're
need-
going to get Ed started here.
Tom Brady doesn't. He needs an asterisk next to his name because he cheated. The only legitimate Super Bowl he has is the one against my Chiefs. That's the only, because he was with Tampa Bay. But all the New England ones, he deserves to have an asterisk next to his name.
I'm sorry, Bentley.
Please
I
do.
Okay,
had
we
to-
can play this game, Ed. We can play this game.
we had to push the buttons on Mr. Ed.
I mean, the refs have been protecting Mahomes his entire career. All 4 years of it. He didn't deserve to go to the Super Bowl this year. He got saved by the referees.
Friday Night Lights just got
And
spiked tonight, y'all.
in the Super Bowl, they were like, "Oh, the Eagles might actually win this. We better do the most questionable fucking call I've ever seen in my life." And then it's like,
you're right.
you don't have any time to actually come back. Oh, those poor Eagles. It's so unfortunate. Yes, Mr. Mahomes, we appreciate the check in the mail. Thank you.
Well, it is true that was a weak call, but the guy who got the penalty did say he held him. And he did. And so, you don't need to, if you know that you're cheating, don't do it. If you're going to call a penalty, you got to call all penalties. So, hey, I got no problem with it. My Chiefs there's no reason that they would want the smaller market to win a Super Bowl. And our owner, Hunt, has been trying to get the stupid commissioner fired for a decade. We've been against the guy, but unfortunately there can only be
The smaller market and your one owner don't matter jack. Mahomes is among one of the highest selling jerseys, just period. The more Super Bowls he wins, guess what happens? More drunk dopes buy jerseys. That's all they care about. The NFL makes stupid money if the right team wins the Super Bowl because there's so much crazy S merch out there that they just rake in cash on.
Patrick Mahomes is definitely the Michael Jordan of the NFL now.
I just had Mahomes gear because he brought Whataburger to Kansas City. So now I only have to drive 3 hours for that rather than 6.5.
3 of them. Brought 3 of them.
I don't know if he's Jordan. He might be like LeBron James.
Ooh.
He is not the greatest to ever play.
Well, it's
And,
too
and,
early
and
to call.
the caveat of active players, you just can't do that with the name Michael Jordan. That'd be like, well, he's the Wayne Gretzky. No, you can't be a Gretzky, you can't be a Jordan unless you are the absolute best. And I
Too
despise
young to be there.
the fact that Brady is considered the greatest of all time
Yeah.
only because he was smart on his contracts.
He was. He knew when to give up money to get a good guy in, which is a
Boy, and he
key.
was on a team that cheated. That was in with the commissioner, and they never got money.
You can't cheat 6 Super Bowls, and be realistic. I mean, 2 maybe.
They
6,
cheated
no.
nearly not the Super Bowl,
7.
but
He's
just
got 7
decades.
rings now. He's got 7
Yeah, but
rings.
he didn't cheat Tampa Bay.
He didn't cheat most years. In 1 year, they got busted for spy cam or whatever it was. But
Yeah, and
I
he also
don't
had
think
deflated
that
balls.
benefited Tom. Tom Brady knew how to read defenses. But I
You're right.
can't get on the bandwagon that Tom Brady to date wasn't the greatest quarterback ever, because he is. Why is he? Because he was not a greedy man. If he needed to get a Randy Moss, oh sure, I'll take a $20 million pay cut. Let's sign him.
Do you believe
Now I
Barry
have to
Bonds
ask you,
be in the
Kenny,
Hall of
why
Fame?
is Tom Brady the greatest though?
'Cause he's got
and
7
don't tell me
rings.
7 rings. Don't tell me 7 rings.
And he owns most of the records.
Well, true. He's also played in the league for like 23 years.
It doesn't matter. He still owns them.
on a team
Puppy,
that knew how
chill.
to work the salary cap great.
He ain't
I mean,
bothered.
they
Bentley,
are
your dog
amazing at doing things too.
your cat can do whatever it wants. We're on stream. I guarantee you Nico will be in this camera before the night's up.
Hey, I'm rooting for it.
He was here. I don't know where he is now. I think he's taking a nap.
I mean, that's my one thing about Brady, is that a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people want to say Brady is the greatest of all time because he has 7 rings. And here's the thing. Brady is definitely one of the best to ever play. Scandals and such, whatever aside. Because in the same thing, you don't just get the, I don't know, he won 7 Super Bowls. I want to say he made what, 10, 11 total in his career, whatever the heck it was. But my thing about the Super Bowls and the rings is, though, rings are not an individual stat to me. Like, if someone's going to say even Aaron Rodgers or Joe Montana or, et cetera, et cetera.
Dan Marino.
Yeah, because I always say, okay, well, here's the thing. Joe Flacco won a ring, but who are you taking, Joe Flacco or Mike Vick?
Joe Flacco.
Neither.
Bad
Or
choice.
for
with Vic.
example, if you also
How about
you have I lost his name now, son of a gun. But I mean,
Go with Dan Marino.
yeah, I mean, there's Joe Flacco versus Dan Marino. It's Marino never got a ring, but if you're taking Joe Flacco over Dan Marino, you're out of your damn mind. But
Well, another one we could go to. Look at Fran Tarkenton. The numbers he put up. He didn't get a ring ever.
yeah, rings are a franchise and team stat. They're not a player stat. Yes, one player can definitely help you get closer to a ring, but they're not going to be the reason you get a ring.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks, Bentley, I know you're over there just grinning ear to ear with the season Geno had.
So, okay, here's the thing. Gino played far more consistently than you probably would have ever expected.
Yeah.
But what I will say is this. When he gets behind, is when he starts to make bad decisions. And with how portions of our team played, the injuries we keep perpetually receiving at running back, meaning that we have to be a pass-first offense, our defense being like coin flip, whether it's going to play well or just be hot garbage, that's when he starts making bad decisions. And he was quite lucky that a majority of his interceptions occurred. Hi, Danny. Also occurred on plays where there were penalties that protected him, or they were just barely missed because the defenders had bad hands. If he was against better defenses in a majority of the games where he made his bad decisions, he would have had significantly higher interception rates. Now, that being said, I'm quite content at the draft picks courtesy of the
Denver.
Broncos.
Yeah, Denver. Yeah,
And
two
the
first-rounders.
traded
Oh, I love
players,
them.
courtesy of the Broncos. I mean, like, Noah Fant is playing better with the Seahawks than he ever played with the Broncos. Shelby Harris is a beast. Our picks from Denver are Charles Cross, Kenneth Walker,
Walker was a good one.
a number 5 overall pick this year, as well as like what, a third round or two?
You
Or
also
fourth
got
rounder?
number
Fourth
15
rounder.
This year in the first round as well.
And
It's
Denver,
just-
all
it was
of that.
hilarious.
Denver,
The better the Seahawks played, the higher our draft pick started going because Denver just did worse and
Yeah.
worse.
I know.
Which was
it was
crazy.
amazing.
Denver
I love
paid
that.
all that money to get a guy. There were games that he barely broke 50 QBR. I mean, he was horrible this year.
What's funny is Denver also traded Drew Lock. Wait, am I saying that right?
Lock.
Lock.
Is it-
Yep.
Lock.
Lock, as in locksmith.
Lock.
or whatever.
The Mizzou boy.
Yeah.
To you guys who had better stats than Wilson did this year. You know, he had better stats the year before.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, I would expect Wilson will be smart enough to realize his team, his unit of human beings he's surrounded himself with, all his yes men, need to be gone. Because they very clearly, the more he surrounded himself with these people, you can watch his game go down. And after he injured his hand 2 years ago, especially, he has not thrown as accurately as he has previously. Right? When he like broke his hand on Aaron Donald's freaking helmet. Goddamn Aaron Donald and his helmet just murdering quarterback hands left and right.
Not to mention the rest of them.
But well, there's a weird, like, if you look, there's a weird number of hand injuries to quarterbacks that are all off of Aaron Donald's helmet. Specifically, it's kind of it's like 5 injuries in the past 2 years. And the man's a wrecking ball. What do you do? But
Oh, yeah.
the thing is, Wilson can, I'm not going to say will, he can rebound and go back to playing well. There are a ton of very good players on the Broncos. The problem they have is all their receivers have terrible goddamn hands.
Yeah.
Jerry Jeudy is a phenomenal athlete with horrible hands. His catch rate is garbage. And a player that should not be anywhere near as good as him on a number of different teams, significantly better hands, higher catch rates. There are players that have not gone as highly because of his raw athletic talent that have much higher catch rates than he does. So there's things that are fixable, and then you'll reassess the Russell Wilson trade. But for right now, you're just like, man, Pete Carroll and John Schneider just robbed the Broncos blind. And then they went and robbed themselves even further to get Sean Payton, which who knows how that's going to go. he's a good offensive-minded coach, but
So is Hackett, supposedly.
I think Sean Payton will have Denver turned around within 4 years tops.
Hackett's a good offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And he's a good quarterback coach. He doesn't understand the macro level of football the way that Sean Payton does, right?
Right.
His clock, just look at his clock management alone. It's garbage. He wasted so much time on the clock that would have been useful if you had just spent a timeout. For what? To have 3 timeouts in the last 20 seconds when you could have used a single timeout and literally gained 40?
But Bentley, knowing Sean Payton, how you know Sean Payton, he does one game like that. He'll get his little wings clipped, and Payton will be calling.
Yeah, we'll see. I
don't think Payton will put up with that garbage.
Hackett's just one of those coaches. I think he's not meant to be he's not a good head coach, but he's a good coordinator. There's just some coaches that are just like that. They're a dang good coordinator, but they're just not cut for a head coach position.
Well, look, there's great examples that came out of Seattle. Look at Dan Quinn.
Yeah.
Look how much better the Cowboys defense has been with Dan Quinn as their defensive coordinator right? Same players, other than Micah Parsons, who that guy, Jesus, he's a monster. But look how much better their defense has played, and consistently their defense has played under Dan Quinn. But then look at Dan Quinn as a head coach. It was like Hackett. You were just like, you are not meant to be a head coach, my guy. You're a great defensive mind. But I'll tell you this, out of all the head coaches out there, even my own, there's only one coach I truly, truly root for. That's Dan Campbell.
Even as a Packers fan, I'd have to agree. The way he's
I love that guy. I love that psychopath.
Really Lions. I mean, when's the last time you've seen the Lions be this competitive? Just based, I mean, it's not like they're swimming of talent. They got some players there, but yeah, how quick he's. I mean, they were one game out of the playoffs this past season.
I think they're going to be dangerous this year. I really do.
And
If
I'm
they
not looking forward to playing them in the next 5 years.
If their GM keeps drafting as well as they have the last 2 years, absolutely, they'll be very scary.
I was very upset when they got.
Are they? They're
I knew that guy was going to be good.
What are they like top? Are they 18th or 19th this year?
Detroit. I want to say they got a top 10 pick again this year too.
I thought they got it from somebody
Well,
on a trade.
that's off a trade, but their actual pick is, I think it's 18.
Yeah, so they got 2 picks in the top
I think they're just
20.
a little bit after the Packers because the Packers are 15. Yeah, I want to say it's 18 or 19. Last year here, I can look. I know.
So they have the number 6 overall from the Rams. They have the 18th, the 48th, the 55th that came from Minnesota,
wow.
and then the 81st in the 3rd round. And then they have two 6s and a 5 after that. But I mean, they have 2 first rounds, 2 second rounds, and a 3rd round pick this year. If they hit on 3 of those 5, dude, scary. Scary.
Didn't we give up a 2nd or 3rd round pick and the 5th or 6th round pick to get Hawkinson?
I think the 2nd round is not this year, but next year.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. We got our money's worth, boys.
Over this year.
We got our money's worth.
Very good. Hawkinson's very good.
So now if we could get a quarterback that can actually stay consistent and maybe, be big in big games, that would be awesome. Then we might have something.
Well, Detroit made you a deal in the draft last year. See if the Bears will give you a deal this year. Go get like C.J. Stroud or something.
But you've also
there you got it, Austin. We trade to the Bears. They can have Cousins. We get Fields. Done.
I mean, if you want to get the number 1 pick, you're going to have to give him more than Cousins. If you just offer Cousins,
no. He wants to give you Cousins for Fields. He wants to give you Cousins for Justin Fields, flat out. Would you take that as a GM?
Ooh. I mean, you tell him. You correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, just the running ability that Fields offers too. I mean, think about the rushing ability. You get Fields back there with Dalvin Cook. Oh man.
And the threat and the threat
room.
And the threat of Jefferson coming across on an end around. Yeah, I think we could play some pretty good. Maybe we'd go back to the run and shoot offense that the old Titans used to run back when they were the Houston Oilers. That would be cool.
I gotta tell you.
Oh, you're talking about back when Warren Moon was the quarterback?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody's ran the run and shoot. I think the run and shoot died with Warren.
I mean, you had kind of a variant of the run and shoot when harkening back to an earlier mention with Michael Vick, but that's about the closest I think you've come.
Yeah. This new kid, the Ertz, is pretty good. Jalen Hurts is good.
Yeah.
So he's
There's
maturing.
a little bit of a question mark on his throw ability, though. Yeah, a little bit.
That throw in the
he doesn't have big arm strength.
Well, that was proven in the Super Bowl. I mean, that haymaker he threw up, wounded duck son of a gun. I mean, yeah, that didn't look too strong.
Yeah, I was about to say haymaker. Boy, that's actually a pretty generous term there, Kenny.
Yeah, that was a wounded duck. I was trying to be nice.
Hey, that man still what? Philadelphia was what, 14 or in 3 or something still before in the playoffs. I mean, it's like Justin Fields, like if talking with the Vikings there again. I mean, he's got, I mean, Miles Anderson back there with him too, and then you get a receiver like AJ Brown. Most games you don't need to throw it that
Could you
long to get that
imagine?
kind of a backfield threat.
You instantly get about an additional $40 million in cap space. Do you think we could maybe get some defensive players that might come play for Minnesota then, The one thing I'm thinking my Vikings are making the biggest mistake because of his locker room presence, I'd like to see us sign Peterson one more year. I think Patrick is somebody with all those young corners and young safeties that we have up there. He's a good role model. He's not the partier that goes out and drinks and acts stupid on the town. I think we should, if for nothing else, for the mentorship that he's going to give these young guys, I think we should bring him one more year because he's still good in the slot. He's a great slot corner still. He ain't going to keep up with nobody anymore, but.
Yeah, and this draft this year is loaded with defensive backs. I mean, not even just the first round. Like the first 3 rounds are going to be loaded with defensive backs.
There's some good edge this year too.
Oh yeah, a lot of edge, tight ends too. I mean, speaking of tight ends, I really want my Packers to get either Dalton Kincaid from Utah or Michael Mayer from Notre Dame. We'll see, but. I know a lot of people say you don't get a tight end in the first round. The only tight end that I would take in the first round or think about it would be Michael Mayer at Notre Dame. That dude, I think that dude is absolutely going to shred it.
Notre Dame, if you think about it, has produced a lot of great tight ends. I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know another school that has here in the Midwest?
Midwest?
Iowa. I mean, you think about it. George Kittle is here right now. T.J. Hawkinson, Noah Fant. I mean, there's 3 Hawkeye tight ends by itself in the league right now, starting.
Yeah.
And they got another one with that. I can't think of his first name, but Laporta. He's probably going to be like a day 2 pick or something.
I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't have said Iowa because you were going to say it. Yeah, but Geno Smith, I like Geno. He's the reason why the Chiefs got Kelsey. Everybody thought that the Chiefs were going to draft Geno with the first pick overall that year, and we went with Eric Fisher instead, and that meant the Jets passed on Kelsey to pick up Geno, and Kelsey ended up falling to us in the second round. And I mean, that was awesome. So I really like Geno.
It's the most obscure reason to like a player I think I've ever heard it.
I was hoping Pepe, all this talk we're talking of his ex-quarterback, I was hoping he would have been up here to rebuttal and talk, but maybe one of this next football season we'll actually get Peplin up here to talk little football with us. He's
probably following the Derek Carr and Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes a little too closely right now.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know what they're thinking there because they had a couple of young kids that just had the misfortune of getting hurt. They really, none of the kids that started this year for them really got a good shake. If you think about it, 2 games hurt, 2 games hurt, 3 games hurt. What do you have for tape on these kids? You spent a strong number 1 pick to get Wilson.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? I mean, you gotta give them a full season. You gotta give them time. How many guys bloomed into amazing quarterbacks after being benched for the first couple of years? I could think of one is wearing green right now that was sat behind Favre all those years, and now he's one of the greatest in the league now.
The interception king himself.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Peplin doesn't want to come up because he's wearing a holy shirt or something.
Yeah.
Is my guess. I don't know.
Oh, it's his anniversary today. Oh, by all means. Hey, guys, that always takes a pass over football, right? I mean, you got to say, oh, football, night with the lady. I'm going night with Miss Danny any day of the week.
Yep.
I don't care if my Vikings are in the Super Bowl.
Very good move. Spend time with the lady. That is a great way to avoid the doghouse. wise decision, sure.
Well, I didn't say I wouldn't have my phone playing with the NFL Network on it, honey. I just said I would be in the bedroom.
Let's see where Bentley thinks Carr's going to end up.
What?
Where do you think Carr is going to end up? And I'll help you. This guy here, you said Jets or New York in general? I know.
I said he's going to New York. No, I did not say the Jets. I said he's going to the Giants.
Okay.
I actually don't know
Carolina.
that after last year that the Giants will get rid of Mr. Danny Dimes for Carr.
Okay.
But Danny Dimes isn't what made that team great this year. Saquon Barkley's resurgence and back in the game, I think he played a good part because it opened the play action. Now, did Danny Dimes do a pretty decent job? Yeah. But
that's all you need.
Danny Dimes.
You don't need
Derek
him to
Carr.
be great. I think because they've already invested in him and he costs less money.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
Cap matters. They're just going to stick with Daniel Jones and build around the pieces they currently have.
You know who would be a great
if
New
you
York
change
guy to
out
bring
your
back?
Quarterback, you have to reformat so many things.
Yes.
It is easier if you have a serviceable quarterback to just build up the other pieces you're missing than to rebuild basically your entire offense.
That, I mean, another year under Coach Brian. I mean, look at Coach. I mean, we talked about good coaches with Dan Campbell there. Brian Dable, I mean, think about what he did with the Giants this year. That was his first year. I mean, imagine what you never know. Jones could almost take like a Hurts kind of leap. I doubt it. But he could take another big leap there with the second year under Dable, maybe even.
So they need to get him some playmakers then. If they're going to stick with him, they got to get some, serious playmakers.
Yeah, they got to get him like some more receivers and such, which is another high quality position in this year's draft.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. Yes.
I think you're going to see it less teams than you might believe trying to get Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, I believe you.
It's
just
silly.
because
It's silly. He's going to be 39 years old, man.
Well, yeah, the dude's only going to play about what, maybe. Okay,
well, he's got Jeopardy calling his name, and he's
4 more seasons at most. But honestly, I think he's got 2.
And I think Jeopardy's calling his name.
Maybe
just have 1.
So I'll be right back, gents.
I was actually, speaking of Rodgers, just reading about a certain team that at first I thought was kind of weird, but apparently the Carolina Panthers reportedly, I don't know much truth are in it, they called the Packers, which was kind of weird at first. But then the more I thought about it, it's like, you know what? They got a lot of draft capital. They still got DJ Moore in their receiving corps. They got some good offensive linemen that are young and still coming up there. So it's like, and I mean, he'd easily be the best quarterback in that division too. So, I mean, especially with Brady out of that division now.
The problem that you will run into in general on Rodgers is he plays hero ball too much.
I also think that's not as much on Rodgers as people may think, and more on the coaches though as well. I mean, I definitely think that Rodgers does put some of that on himself too, to be clear. I don't think it's all the coaches, but
especially in the case of Carolina, you really don't have a secure running game right now. So it would almost force you to put Rodgers in a position where he has to play hero ball more. And that's where he's not necessarily at his best. That's where the mistakes come in.
So that's his opinion.
Carolina, and you give him you know what? You go ahead, you give Green Bay a second-round pick this year and maybe a conditional pick this year, and then give him, I don't know, I'm just throwing ones out there, a first-round pick for next year. And in the first round this year, Carolina goes and, say, drafts Texas running back Bijan Robinson and something. There's your running back.
Deontay Foreman's pretty good, though.
I love
Foreman. Hey, they need to have 2 Longhorns in the backfield, too, if you got Deontay
Foreman. I think that kid's a heck of a back, actually. I actually like that kid.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
I mean,
was
I hate
amazing
that
in
kid.
Tennessee
Hold on,
2 years
I hate
ago.
him. I hate him. What am I doing?
compared to Christian McCaffrey, though, yeah, it's a big step down. But
Well,
I do think that Carolina
that's a
needs
big
a
step
much
down
better
everywhere.
running back.
I think McCaffrey's like likelihood of staying healthy through a season is fairly low. It's a miracle he stayed healthy for when he was being used by the 49ers. Like they have to be thanking some kind of like RN Jesus or something. I don't know, but
It's because he is so angry of a runner. He does not go down. He's just angry.
Probably because they also had all the bad luck for injuries at the quarterback position.
yeah,
that-
I mean,
yeah.
they have one of the most interesting decisions I think coming up because you have to decide whether you go back to Trey Lance and stick with Trey Lance,
Nope.
or pending how well Purdy recovers from surgery, put Purdy in. Like obviously you don't keep Garoppolo, right? You get rid of Garoppolo.
Right.
Garoppolo's going to be a
Yeah,
Raider.
yeah.
I think Garoppolo's going to be a Raider.
But, yeah.
I have been amazed by some of the decisions early on this year because I think it was stupid to get rid of Carr and keep
I
your
agree.
coach.
They got
was dumb.
nothing for him. Nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, he's not going to get like a couple first. He's not going to get you a first round like maybe Rodgers could, but I mean, you could still get maybe like I don't know some draft capital for him. But
I honestly don't think that. I think there are very few teams out there who, if they were to spend the amount of future capital it's worth to get Rodgers, would still then be able to go win a ring. And the only reason why you go all in on Rodgers is to win a ring. And I honestly don't think after what the cost, because Green Bay is not going to take something light. Like they have to understand he's probably only got a year, so they can't ask for the moon. They can't get some Deshaun Watson nonsense.
no.
Now, granted, hopefully that guy never plays well ever again because he's a scumbag. But
I'm with you there. That'd be funny too.
Well,
It'd just be funny.
I think you're going to see a lot of teams that are in need of a quarterback, unless they can get Carr or maybe Garoppolo. And I put Garoppolo as like tier 2. He's not a tier 1 quarterback. He's now at a point where he's too injury risked to be tier 1 anymore. Early after he went to San Francisco, he was a very, very good quarterback.
Yeah.
But now his risk of injury is just too high. He's good. If he stays healthy, he's a great quarterback because he's very good. He makes very few terrible decisions. He might not be as athletically gifted as some of the other quarterbacks out there, right? And he might not be like this absolute machine when it comes to reading a defense or getting defenses to commit free penalties all the time like Rodgers does, right? But he doesn't make a lot of screw-ups. And honestly, with many of the teams out there that have very strong defenses, the Jets, as an example, all you need is a quarterback that doesn't fuck up that much. And as long as your quarterback is serviceable and doesn't make a lot of mistakes, your defense will carry your ass hard. You just need a quarterback who can score more than 3 freaking points. And as much as Kenny, I understand your want to defend Mr. like Cougar Hunter Zach Wilson. All right. I respect the want to defend a first round pick, especially and over number 2 overall. But
You've seen enough of Wilson to know what he's going to give you and what you can't.
I don't, without some semblance of miracle, I think that he is much like Johnny Manziel, I think that his no, listen to me for a second. His mental maturity is not there. And I don't know that you can get it at a reasonable enough pace to keep putting him in the game. And at how high he was picked, his contract becomes very expensive to just have him on the bench.
Yeah, this is true.
Whereas
Very good point.
Mike White is like a coin flip. He has a great game, and then he has a game, and then he has a great game, and then he has a game,
Nice.
right? But when he's on, and you gotta hope for right now. If you don't get something better, like Derek Carr, like Jimmy Garoppolo,
Well,
if you're the Jets, you basically have to hope that okay. Can the defense on the games where Mike White's not that great just lock it down enough? That's all you need. Peplin is like losing his mind over there.
he is, boy. We got on this jet subject, boy. Peplin, I keep telling you, you can come up. It's easier to come up and talk the piece than it is to write it.
I will say this though: if I were in the seat of a GM, I would be almost aggressively trying to gamble on Brock Purdy.
I like Purdy, man.
Yeah.
Because you have a chance that he's Mr. Irrelevant, right? Such a low pick, and then he got hurt. So you have a chance that he might be trade bait enough without costing you the farm. And if you can get him for something like a third or a third and a fourth,
I think he's a second, buddy. I think
There's
a lot of, because of the particular type of surgery he has to have. That's actually extremely risky for football quarterbacks. That injury is less scary in baseball players, which is sad to say, than it is in a football quarterback because of the impacts that regularly occur to the quarterback's arm. Baseball puts a lot more stress on those portions of the elbow, but you're not taking impact regularly. Football is, which is why this injury is much scarier on a quarterback. So in that regard, you're gambling both sides here. You're gambling that his surgery is immaculate and his recovery and rehab, it has like the dedication of someone as psycho about their body as Tom Brady. If that happens, I think Purdy is easily one of the best young quarterbacks out there. Unless, like a previous San Francisco quarterback, a guy that I cannot stand at all as a person, and that's Kaepernick, and not because of the kneeling, just because his attitude is kind of shit. If they figure out the ways that he plays, because Kaepernick was amazing in his first season when no one had tape on him, and then as soon as everybody had tape on him, all of a sudden he started throwing interceptions all over the goddamn place.
It's what the name for that is folds like an accordion, man.
However, I think Purdy is smarter than Kaepernick in what I've seen. And I've watched a lot of him because he was a very interesting story to me. And every time I had to play against that guy, I was sitting there going like, what would a trade for this kid take? Because he's playing really good. The only disadvantage you really have is a lot like Wilson. He's a smaller guy. But Seahawks know how to play with a smaller quarterback. You know, because like, to me, I'm sitting there going like, if Geno wants too much money, what does Purdy cost? And can we get him?
You know, I've
being an
often
Iowa
wondered, now that I
State
think
fan, a
about
Packer fan, I would be so conflicted if Purdy went to Seattle.
Yeah,
I mean that's
I
the
know.
next thing too.
I don't know what it is with you Packers people. You just you have something out against my poor Seahawks. I don't know what it is. I don't quite understand.
Here's what I would.
Yeah.
Here's something I would love to hear Ed's
the 2016
perspective on.
NFC Championship game, the Fail Mary. I mean,
And I'll go back before that, back when you had
Marshawn Lynch.
go back to the early thousands when we had Hasselbeck, and with the exception of 05, every year that we went to the playoffs, we lost to the fucking Green Bay Packers in the goddamn playoffs. So to you, I will say, it's time for you to eat the crow. It's your turn. Congratulations. We had our share. You can have a little bit of it too, and we can all be nice. I don't get why you guys are so fucking bitter. You've had like 30 years of good quarterbacks and playoff success.
And
I'm going to tell you something right now.
The first
Badly.
30 years of my team were trash.
I don't think that Love is a bad quarterback. He's been overshadowed by Rodgers. I think when he is giving the reins to run, I think he'll do it. I think the kid's going to be good.
I just think, despite the number of years that he's been in the NFL, he's had so little play time that you actually don't know what he can do at the speed of the professional game.
I think he's going to be good. I have a feeling he's going to be good.
I think Love's first year is going to be, I mean, this almost seems, I don't want to say exactly like Favre Rodgers again, but it's showing some shadows like that to me. Now, does that mean Jordan Love's going to be our third straight Hall of Famer? I pray for it, but I guess we'll see.
I mean, 90% of the rookies, their first time playing an NFL game, shit all over their leg every time anyway. I mean, it's
like, honestly, with Jordan Love, if we went anywhere near 500 his first season out there, the season.
Unless they're Randy Moss, then they just dominate.
Right. I mean, yeah, if we got anywhere near 500 on Jordan Love's first full season, I, as a fan, am going to be like, okay, we can build on this.
Austin, speaking of cracking, you remember this move that Moss did?
Oh, good God. I thought I had a yellow cloth down here. I was going to throw the flag and totally reenact the scene there, but
I'll do it for you.
Law green dancing on the field.
The only reason I brought because that's what
that's more for my conduct.
My uncle is the biggest
left.
Packer fan ever, and I mean, I was on the phone when we scored that touchdown with them, and Moss did that fake mooning to the Green Bay fans, and my uncle was losing his mind. He's like, "That classless bastard! Look at him, that classless bastard!" He's just losing his mind. So I knew that I would get that reaction if I mimicked that for you.
Let's see if we have anybody left watching.
Well, just Peplin, it seems, according to chat.
Yeah, I think that did it in.
What happened?
I will say this. I appreciate the fact that you like Doug Baldwin, because I clearly love Doug Baldwin. That guy is fantastic. And just as a human being, he's a wonderful, wonderful man. I will say this. I'm very curious to see what Captain Eccentric does, just to say Aaron Rodgers, because we've had this weird, like, his darkness retreat or whatever
whatever
fuck
the hell
that
was.
is. What I had ayahuasca the year before, so whatever, man. He's just he's a what is it? Was it Gutekunst that said he's kind of a weird dude? He didn't mean it as an insult. He was just like, he's different, you know.
Yeah,
he's very different. He's a very different guy.
Yeah.
But it's gonna matter a lot on whenever he makes a decision. But I will say this. I would be very curious to see. You'll know if Green Bay really believes in Love this year. Just period. You will know, because they'll either take the 5th-year option.
Yep.
Or,
Oh man, if they don't take that 5th-year option,
if they try to deal Rodgers, then you know they believe in him enough that they want to start building for the next team, and not necessarily Aaron's like final season or whatever they're expecting.
I mean, here's my next thing with Rodgers, though. How many more times are we going to keep saying this one more thing with him? Because, I mean, let me ask you three gentlemen, and I'll tell you what I think. Do you think that if Aaron Rodgers comes back, and let's say even we have an A-grade draft, do you think the Packers right now are a Super Bowl contending team?
yes.
If they can... Ed, it's your turn.
I don't think so. Nothing personal, but you guys aren't the team that you used to be. You guys need a lot of pieces in a lot of
We're
areas.
not that team that we used to be. Everybody that was once young is now older. I mean, heck, Preston Smith, one of our main guys, he's now older. I mean, Rodgers, yeah, this son of a gun's going to be like 40 before our next season gets through. So, I mean, it's at some point we have to ask ourselves, how many more seasons are we going to keep saying, okay, one more season, one more click at before we finally say, I mean, it's hard to say it, but at some point you just
Brady
gotta say,
made it
look,
to 46 years old. I think
Brady just
Rodgers
found the
is in
fountain
better
of
shape
youth, and
than,
I don't know what.
I think he's in better shape than Brady was.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know,
Brady. I don't know
Brady,
what that
that's
guy
something
did. He
that's-
just like found the fountain of youth. He like made a pact
I
with
agree.
devil, made like voodoo or
I'll give him
whatever.
credit
I
for
don't
that.
know, but he did something. But
So I will put it this way. What I would say is, as a non-Packers fan and a very analytical human being, I look at the last 8 games of the 2022 season.
Yeah, that was pathetic.
yeah,
No.
no,
There is continuous progress because the young receivers started figuring shit out.
yes,
You
Well,
have
you keep in
players
mind-
like Rashawn Gary who are just fucking monsters. You have a lot of the building blocks you need, and the biggest problem that Rodgers had in the early season was the receivers not being on the page as well as the veterans he was accustomed to throwing to. Christian Watson is fucking good. That
Yeah.
kid is good. I don't know if he's Devontae Adams good, but he's good.
He's Jordy Nelson good.
I think we need a few more years to see it. Just, I personally think that yes, he could go down as one of the better. I mean, it's very early, so I may eat crow for this, but I think Christian Watson has the potential. That's the key word, potential. He has the potential to be one of the, I think, top 10 receivers in the league, if not better. He has
So
the
here's-
skill, he has the
here's-
athletic ability to do it.
Here's
He
where I
needs
say this.
to
I
work on
think
his routes. His routes is where he's hurting. He doesn't have precise, tight routes. He
And
just
that's what he
based,
needs polished.
yeah,
that
and
was-
that's time, right? He's a rookie.
Yes.
But if you look and address, you still have some good running capability.
When you're
If
actually gonna go.
Bakhtiari restructures his contract a touch, and if you can get Rodgers to restructure, because that's what they're looking at trying to do very clearly, you're not in the level of cap hell that you're currently sitting in. You have enough draft capital to pick up a couple of the pieces, and as long as you hit on some of those pieces, you can just look at the progress of the first half of the season versus the second half of the season. Other than the game against the Lions, they played extremely well. And if they keep building on it, I think one more try actually is feasible. Do I think it is likely? No. But I think if you pay attention to you look at the analytics, you look at the trend of the team as a lot of these young players who are in rookie or only second seasons progress throughout the season, you can see, okay, we have a lot of pieces. We just have to fill in a few gaps. And if we do it right you probably won't do anything in free agency because it's Green Bay, and Green Bay owned the way they are and managed the way they are. They don't really capitalize on free agency ever.
They really do.
It's just never been what Green Bay does. However, you have just enough draft capital, and if you hit on 50% of them, that's really all you need, as long as those 50% are in the right positions.
Namely, safety and probably an edge rusher or tight end.
Yeah, you basically need an edge rusher. You really need an edge rusher.
Yes.
And then you really kind of need a safety.
I think I need to draft 2 safeties even. Unless you put Rasul Douglas back there.
I would be worried if you moved Rasul Douglas that you would lose production. I think he's probably in his best position as is. Still, I think it's not as bad as people think. The real question becomes, is Rodgers' body going to hold up? And can you restructure 2 of the contracts to make just the right amount of room to not put yourself in a nightmare scenario?
Right.
Like Kenny's microphone. Thank you,
Like
Kenny.
Darth Vader on Max Pixels up there. Good God. I mean,
Similarly, like I would say, you have a similarly interesting question with the Vikings. While the Vikings have done well, there are things you have to address in the draft,
and they're still missing some pieces. Yeah.
and you
Our
don't.
draft's
You
easy,
still.
Bailey. Our draft's easy. It's fat boy, fat boy, fat boy. Period. We need defensive and offensive lines. That's it. I don't even want to. If you're running over a 6-0 in the 40, we don't need you. We need offensive line, defensive line. That's it. If I'm drafting, that's what I'm going for. So that's where think about our biggest problems this year were the offensive line and the defensive line giving up the run. So defensive line.
I also think you've seen the best season out of Kirk Cousins that you're ever going to see.
Brother, you can ask anybody that knows me. Kenny E is not a Cousins fan. Never have been. Never will be.
Like, I will trade Kirk Cousins straight across for Justin Fields. Bears, will you take this? I can tell that right away because, like,
well,
all right.
Rico up here. What would Rico say to you?
When we were doing that building year anyway, when we went and got Cousins, you think about who we had rostered at quarterback. We could have re-signed that year for a lot less money. And it's bothered me the whole time because the guy just got done taking us to the NFC Championship game the year before. We let him get out of the house, and we probably could have signed that guy for probably a third of what we signed Cousins. That's Case Keenum. With the supporting cast we had at the time, we could have had another 2 years of runs. But instead, we signed Cousins, which then in return made us have to get rid of Diggs, which I'm grateful for now because we got Jefferson. But, I mean, Case Keenum, I think we could have, as far as a team, could have built a pretty nice little unit up here in Minnesota. But instead, we wanted to jump on the Cousins, and it was such a stupid contract to start. I mean, we never, I've said it many times, he's a bum, and he should be embarrassed that he even took our money because he did nothing to help us. And Kirk Cousins, if you ever watch this, I mean it from the bottom of my heart, baby.
I will at least defend Kirk Cousins a little bit. Just watch any tape in which Case Keenum played against the Seahawks. That guy threw interceptions left and right.
Brother, I don't care about it. All I care about is where you got us. You got us to an NFC Championship game. His first year, and he took a team over.
So if you managed the Ravens, then you would still have Joe Flacco? Is that because that's what this feels like right now?
You want an honest opinion? I
Yes,
would take Joe Flacco over Kirk Cousins.
You know,
I can't
you guys
love
would be
you.
better with Teddy Bridgewater. I think you guys would be better
Bridgewater
with
was
Bridgewater.
Yes, that's another guy we could have
again. Teddy Two Gloves, baby. I love Teddy Bridgewater.
We could have got
I
him
love that
cheap.
guy.
Could have got him cheap. We don't need a great quarterback. We don't. The kind of ball we play, we do not need a great quarterback.
Well, and that's why I would say, despite the fact that he's atrociously expensive for who he is, I think Cousins is fine because he is a very serviceable quarterback. I just think you probably saw the best season out of him you're ever going to see. I don't think you're gonna see him way off, but
he's getting Rodgers and all these great people money, and he shouldn't be. He shouldn't even begin. I class him in about a B- to C+. I really do. I don't need a guy that gets great numbers for fantasy. I need a guy that's going to win championships. You remember when what's her face on My Cousin Vinny saying, that's what I'm feeling like, right?
No, the clock is ticking.
My clock is ticking. I'm 55 years old. Can you maybe get us one ring before I croak? I don't want to be like the rest of the Vikings fans before me. I want a ring. That's all I care about. One ring. I'd be happy. I'd never ask for another thing again. One ring. Just one.
But a buy Kenny a plastic ring that's purple.
Yeah. I never understood.
Get Viking Super Bowl etched on it.
Well, I always, Bentley, I always get shafted. Okay, last year we did these fantasy teams, right? I win both leagues. I get nothing. Goose egg. This year, some newbies come in the league. Both newbies win it, and all of a sudden, it's got these beautiful trophies to give them. I got shafted out of the one, but 2 trophies.
So in my old fantasy league that I used to play in, if you took last place, you were shipped a license plate cover.
I should be going like
that
this.
Said I sucked. I lost at fantasy football.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
There should
And
be
you
a
had to
piece.
wear it. You had to have it on your car for the entire next fantasy season.
Oh,
Well, I
We
could
don't
get one of
reward
those
the
for you,
winners.
Kenny.
We punish the losers. That's how my old fantasy league used to roll.
oh man.
That's kind of the fun
Speaking
way
of
to
which,
do it. though.
Bentley, are you joining this year?
What, you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
come on in.
Shoot me an invite. I haven't been in a super active fantasy league. Like my league is like, I think 7 out of the 10 guys are active, and 3 people are just on like some weird autopilot that don't pay attention
That's one
anymore.
I will say about our league this year. Everybody played. We didn't have people quit.
Oh, sweet! I
Which
get to
was
be the
nice.
expansion team, which means I'm going to be terrible.
Well, no, this year there's going to be another expansion league, dude. It's so popular. We don't want to do 14 teams again. That was brutal.
We had
14.
2 14 league seasons, or 2. We had an NFC West and an AFC, or we had a West and an East.
Dude, you
There
know
were
what that's
no
called,
leagues
right?
Out there if you're a
Yeah,
player.
It was brutal,
Leagues,
Bentley.
leagues at that size are all about who is like the waiver wire king.
Oh, believe me, Purdy, everybody was licking their chops to have found Purdy at that point. Because there was a lot of people in our league that were without quarterbacks. I mean, they're like, Purdy, to get excited about Purdy, everybody be like, what? But
Oh, dude,
that guy was a stud for late.
my
late
last year looked really great on paper, and then week 2, Justin Herbert gets hurt, and I'm like, mother.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I just watch my team go.
Yep.
I had other injuries stack up too, and I totally spaced on the fact that DeAndre Hopkins had a 6-game suspension because I'm an idiot. So I had D Hop for not 6 games, and then I had Herbert get hurt week 2.
I picked up.
At least you didn't pull a me and draft Michael Thomas thinking that he'd actually get hurt and play better this season. That was about the dumbest damn move I ever did.
I won't gamble on that guy. I don't like his attitude, but that's me.
I picked up Hopkins, I think, week 4. Somebody had dropped him. They didn't want to wait the last 2 weeks.
My
That was a
God.
nice pickup for me.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well wait if you're going to have him for 4 weeks. I held on to him. I was sitting there. I'm like, well, he's going to be on my bench, and I'm an idiot who's not paying enough attention. Great. Great.
Crazy. Well, should we wrap it up? It's been an hour and a half. I don't know.
What?
How long did you want to do these? Yeah,
Yeah.
it went by super fast.
Wow, we were supposed
I mean,
to
hey,
end
this
at
is fun.
8:30.
I can do this all night. This is fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
we-
look forward to this. This is going to be so much fun, man. Just be able to be ourselves, talk a little football. Don't have to worry about our fish fam people getting upset because we're not on fish subject. So, you know, it's just nice to have a place to finally do it, guilt free, could do our thing. You know.
It is kind of funny, though, that, you know, because it's the fish nerds doing football, every one of us has a fish tank behind us.
Yeah.
Just mine is the only one that's dark right now because mine are on strict timers.
I wouldn't put
I'm not
any one of
overriding
us
that.
in a novice category when it comes to fish keeping either. I mean, we're all got our
I'm an
Bitches.
idiot. What are you talking about?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm no expert. I'm just an enthusiast.
It's funny because, especially because, like, you messaged me with the link, and I'm like, what the heck? Oh, yeah, right. Kenny was going to invite me randomly if I have time, and I was literally finishing editing the video for tomorrow. Put way too much time editing that damn thing in. People better like that stupid thing.
Well, guys, before we wrap up,
Awesome.
anything you got for everybody, Ed?
Nope. Go Chiefs.
Wow, you don't want to talk about you go Thursday night?
Yeah, I go
Craft
on Thursday nights.
Ed? Okay. Cool.
Come and check me out.
Austin, what you got for us, baby?
Well, I'm actually editing a video right now talking about some new fish that I recently got at a swap. I'm going to another swap here in about a couple of weeks up in Des Moines, actually. That, and then, I mean, my plywood tank is about done here for my Maboo, so
It's looking
that's
good,
on
dude.
there
I love it.
too. Say what?
I said it's looking good. I love it.
Oh yeah, it's that valve in there is really taking off, and I love it.
How many gallons is that thing?
510.
What did you decide on for dithers for that tank, Austin?
Dithers?
For the Mabu tank?
Oh, like other fish that I'm putting in there or something?
Uh-huh.
I haven't really decided fully. I mean, I guess, well, you probably see them. I just have like a dozen rosy red minnows in there right now. They're kind of just helping finish off the rest of the cycle. There was just a tiny trace of ammonia in there. So to just finish off the bio cycle and such, I just figured, okay, well, in my area, they're like $2 for a dozen. So I'm like, okay, why not? It'll also be a good way to see if, okay, when I put the Mabu in there, is he going to chase him down and have a snack? Because, I mean, I hope he doesn't. But at least if he does, like, okay, I lose $2. But,
brother, I'm telling you, you should get that I've got with Chaka, that they're such an amazing, they're so underrated. Nobody I hardly thinks of them anymore. I've got giant Danios in with my Fahaka. And they're breeding in that tank.
Giant Danios in with his angelfish tank.
Yeah, those things are super cool. They're fast enough that they can't really latch on to them. I'm not going to say I haven't had some bloodshed, but I mean, occasionally puffers are pretty good about not being a threat, but something to keep in mind. I mean, because they would look really nice in that big platform.
But I was also thinking of like a huge school. When I talk about like school, I mean like 50 cardinals or 50 rummy noses.
Oh, that would be cool.
I mean, maybe even 50 of each. I don't know. It's 510 gallons. It's not like we're borrowed for space. So, I mean, it's, I was saying maybe even 50 rummy noses, 50 cardinals or something. And I mean, yeah, there's all sorts of.
Yeah, I got to have you up on Sunday night. We got to talk about that tank sometime soon.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I'm hooking up a FX5 to it right now. That thing's about to be filtered to high heaven, too. Along with a 1,500 gallon grade pond filter, too.
Sure. So, Bentley, what you got for us, buddy? You got anything for us?
I'm going to be a Keystone Clash.
Nice. And I'm going to tell you all something. If you have not been to a Bentley talk, you ain't living. A guy is very real, very good talk. He did an amazing job at Fishtoberfest this past year. And he's just an overall good guy overall. So check him out. And Bentley, you still stream as well on Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific, correct?
Yeah, actually, for the Fish Nerds in channel, normally I would only like give this kind of a strong suggestion. I would highly encourage if you can make 6 p.m. Pacific time Tuesday, be the 7th, for my stream. I would highly suggest you be there, especially if you're in the U.S.
There you go.
You know, there might be something very interesting happening on that stream.
I think we say screw to stream, and if it's something from your most recent videos you've been dropping, I think I might want to just be at that stream. I might have my ideas what it could be.
It's not anything to do with recent videos.
Oh,
and yet,
okay. Now you got me really intrigued.
It's spicy. Yeah. Spicy.
And of course, you guys can catch me and Danny every Sunday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. So come check us out every Friday. We'll be at the same place, same time, 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. And you never know who's going to be on this show. Never know. Bentley, Austin, appreciate you. Ed, you know, you're my brother from another mother. I greatly always enjoy. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.